Okay, cool. So let's see. We've done lambda calculus, we've done types last time, and now we are here doing recursive types and functions.
Yeah.
So I think so. Last time, let me open the like part two. I think here. So we thought of some exercises that you might do if you have enough
Yeah.
time to like to really nail in the things that we've discussed. So how did that go?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's like once a week, so there's plenty of time in the week. But yeah, I see you have a question mark near the homework on our goals for
Yeah,
today.
I mean,
Yeah,
hey.
it's a good question mark because I have some. So let's start with this. We. Oh, wait.
So how do we do? Do we just let's just create a new file, right? Just so we
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah. It would be a
So
lot easier to
let's
follow.
create like homework 2.md and let's just type here. Like you can paste here whatever
Okay.
you want, and then we can have a look and whatever, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Do I have to import do the imports in the module as well? The top?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. Let's actually, rather than doing this thing, let me. I guess if I delete this, it's fine, right? Because you still have this somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me delete this. And yeah, let's actually add a like a Purescript file. So let's call it homework2.purs, and then let me do that.
Okay.
Okay, and then yeah, we can do whatever now.
Okay.
Uh,
This is it.
okay, well
Like,
I mistyped. I needed to add a where here. Oops. Okay, I
ah,
guess
yeah.
that was the
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
There are some problems because of me.
okay,
So
well,
I do have some questions.
okay.
So you told me to create I have to add the requests as well, like the exercise with what you told
Uh,
me to do.
okay, let me add that. So define this, right? So that was
Yeah.
the requirement, right? So let's paste it here and do a like
Okay.
comment it out. Okay.
Okay. So is this the way, like this is the way that I created my own type
So let's see. We
with,
have a user which has a username, an email, and an age. Yeah, this is fine so far.
okay. But then I really wanted to ask you because I haven't. So do I have to create some users as well? Like, is this
Uh,
what I did here? Is this okay?
so let's see. Write functions to extract. I mean, it's. I didn't ask specifically for this, but this is fine that you did it. But there are some errors here. So
Yes,
can you?
I don't know how to get rid of these errors
Okay,
specifically.
so the problem here is that AAA is not a string, right? It says unknown data constructor AAA here,
Yeah.
right? Which means that it expects AAA to be something like make user, right? Like a constructor. This is a constructor, but you want it to be strings. So strings are in the, like are Excel, right? So you kind of need to do this, and then it's fine,
Hmm.
right? Because
Okay. Yeah.
like, oops, I did not mean to do that. Right? Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we didn't like the problem is we kind of glanced over the like early stuff pretty fast. So I guess that's my bad because I didn't um yeah I didn't give you enough exercise and things
Happens
like
in
that
C
later.
sharp and Java as well, right? Like you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
use
yeah.
the
It's
yeah.
similar.
So it's my stupidity as well.
Yeah, well, no,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I don't. You told me to create a function that
Hmm.
extracts I mean, three functions that extract the user, the male, and the age.
Hmm.
And this is where I have my first question mark, like the big one. Is
Okay.
what I did here okay? Because I defined the function and I
Hmm.
know that it uses the user and it
Hmm.
returns a string,
Yep.
but then do I do it like this?
Oh, can you tell what the error is here? Like if you hover over, do you get an error?
Yeah. Unknown data constructor make point.
Okay, so can you figure out what the problem is?
Um, I mean, would it be like this? What?
No.
No. No, because
Uh,
it would just give X
yeah.
at the end.
Oh, no, like literally, it's just a typo somewhere. Like you want to pattern match on a user, but you're using
And
make
then,
point.
oh my God. And the other ones have make user
Yeah,
as well.
the other ones are fine, right? It's
Okay,
just
yeah.
a
I was watching the example that I did with you. That's why. Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yep, that makes sense. So I think
Uh,
it should be fine now, as long as I think we need to save, right? Because the
uh,
like only when you
yeah,
save does it recheck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, so now it works. So the first thing is a username because that's how you define it. The second thing is email, and the third thing is the age. Yep, so this is perfect. That's exactly correct.
Oh, okay. Because I was pretty sure that this is not the correct way to do it.
No, this is
So,
this is actually the correct way to do it.
okay. And then you told me to get the function that increments the age by 1
hmm
and
So this is
user.
almost right. It's very
Okay.
close to being right. Can
Okay.
you just hover over the error and well, okay. One of the problem
I
is
think I can figure it.
let me do this. So you need to import preludes, and then you'll get a different error. And now look at the error.
Could not match int with type string. So does it take? Wait.
So maybe it would be easier if instead of X, Y, and Z, we would name them as appropriately, right? So what's X? What will
So
represent
this is
X?
the username.
Yep. So can you just rename them, like rename the
Oh,
variables?
sorry. Yeah.
Okay. And what's Y?
It's the email
Yep. And
and
what's
the age.
okay. So now can you rewrite the right hand side of the equals to be correct?
So it. Oh my God. Like my. Okay. Now I understand.
Yep. So you're trying to add one to the username, right? But
Yes.
username is a
Well,
string, so the compiler is saying, okay, how do I add one to um, to a
oh,
string, right? Yep.
yeah.
That's exactly right. Perfect. So I think it works now. So did you
Man, like
save?
I'm really sorry, but
No, don't worry.
I spent no. I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure this one out, and it felt impossible. Okay. Well, now it makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Okay, and again, like maybe in things like this, you got it right, but it's usually like, especially in the beginning, if you name things like in a way that's like logical or like helps you later, it's going to make your life so much easier, right? Because if you've done this at the beginning, like username, email, and age, it would have been a lot less likely
Yeah.
for you to do this mistake, right? So
Yes.
naming is really important in programming.
Yes, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's
Uh,
see. So you had this increment age function, then find the oldest user out of two users, I guess, right?
yes.
Okay.
And this is something that I did not know how to do.
Okay.
All I have is this. Uh,
Okay. So let's think about this for a second, right? So this is all you have, right, so far.
yeah, I don't know how to like create where do I get the two different ages from?
Well, this ends out being something like this, right? So my first thing is you have one user, right? The first user. So you do mk user, right? And
Okay,
this
yeah.
is like a username. Let's do u1, e1 for email, one age1 for age1, right? Let's just to do
Okay,
it
yeah.
slightly shorter, right? But then you can also do mk user, u2, e2, and a2.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the first and the second one, right?
Yeah.
Right. So then all we need to do is do something like if a1. So if the first one is older, right? If a1 is greater than a2, then we can just do make user u1, e1, and a1, right? We just recreate it. Doesn't matter. We don't have to return the exact same thing, right? And u2, e2, and a2, and that's it.
We have a typo here, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This.
I deleted it.
Okay. Cool. So and that's it, right? And there are ways to make this shorter. For example, there is this syntax where you can do u1. User 1, because we already have u1 at, and then user 2 at, and then we can make this shorter by doing this. Then we can say user 1 here, and then user 2 here, and it's the same thing, right? And then we don't even need these things, like we can do this, right? We only look at the age, and then we return the right. So what does this do is you just
the sign.
deconstruct this thing, but you
Yeah,
also have the. I'm running low on space here. Hopefully that should be enough for for this, and I'll fix that later, right? And then you just keep the whole thing, right? The whole user is user one, right? So you can just return it later.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. So what's next?
Okay. So next, I had to
So
create.
let me have a look. So write a new type person that has the following. So let me copy this over just so we can look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll just
Mm-hmm.
copy. No, let's just copy one by one. It's easier. Let me close this. Let me paste this first, and then you can paste the solution. Okay. Take the wheel.
This. Okay.
So let's see.
This is what I wrote, but I didn't finish it entirely.
Okay, so let me see. So write a new type person that has the following constructors. Employee with a Boolean property, which represents whether it is a new employee. Manager with two Boolean properties, whether he is also an admin, and whether... I'm not sure why I said also here. That's some weird phrasing for me. And whether they have their own office. Okay, so the idea is when I say a new type person that has two constructors, I mean something else. So let me show you what I mean. I mean something like data
What
person,
we did last time in the exact, yeah.
Employee, Boolean, and then manager, right? Because person is a type, and then this is a constructor, and then this is a constructor, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here you created an employee type with a make employee constructor, a manager type with a make manager constructor, and then the person you've created as being both an employee and a manager, right? Because this is a product, not a sum type, right? So this is kind of like having both things, right? Kind of like the manager, which has two booleans. You kind of made the person be both an employee and a manager instead of being an option, right? Here is either that or the other thing. So let's remove this, right? And let's try to go through these things again, right? So let's see. This function, new employee, was the... So you need to go from... Let me see. Well, how did I type it here? Right? A function person to Boolean, which returns true if a person. So this needs to be Boolean here, the result, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I wrote string because I was going for this result for new and false, and I was this wrong?
Well, yeah. First of all, so look at the syntax here. So you're taking a single person and returning a boolean, but here you're kind of matching on true and false, and then everything as a make employee, which doesn't really make sense, right? So we're only pattern matching over person. So if you were to rewrite this, how would you write this? Let me comment this out and maybe try to write it again. Like, how do you implement it? Okay.
Well, to be honest, I have no idea. But
well, like what do you usually do, right? So we pattern match, right? Because that's like that's the only thing we can do on person. So how do we pattern match on person?
Well, I still have to go for the boolean, so I have to 1 second. So like, do I still go for the true and the false? Because
well, not really, because like if you type this, so actually leave this here, right? So if you type this, then like let's say true equals true, right? Because you need to return a boolean, right? So if we save this and look at the type error here, which should be a type error. Why am I not getting a type error? Are we getting a different type error here?
We have a different,
okay. Let me comment this out just so we focus on this thing, right? So let's look at this type error here, right? So it's telling us that we cannot match person with boolean, right? Because this is a boolean and this is a person, right? So Purescript doesn't know how to match this, and it makes sense that it doesn't know, right? So here we need to match a person here. So how do we do that?
Well, I create a person. Like
okay, show me, because I'm not sure what you mean when you say you create a person.
Okay. No, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So the way, okay, let me go over.
Do I have to make a constructor as well?
Well, you have two constructors. Employee and manager are constructors.
Yeah, and I use them now. Like I make the
exactly.
employee.
Yep. So well, no, not make employee, because it's just named employee. There's no make employee.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's just employee, and then some. What do you have then?
Well, for employee, I only have the X.
Yep. And the syntax actually, like, you have to do this instead.
Yeah, it's the
Like the whole person is inside parentheses, and not just the argument.
I wanted to fix this afterwards.
Okay, cool. So now what was the result in this case? So, right, so this X represents whether it's a new employee. So then we just, what do we do on the right hand side?
If wait, so I'm having, okay, I'm panicking a bit because I don't understand. Okay, so this line is actually making the employee, and it has the X value
no,
for
it's
the
not
boolean.
making. So this is taking an employee as an input, right? So let's
okay.
Right. So the employee is an input, and then we have to say about this employee. So this function takes a person as an input, and then returns a boolean as a result, right? And the meaning of this function is, okay, if this person an employee, and then if he's a new employee, which is represented by this boolean, then we need to return true, otherwise return false.
Yeah, so basically I have to write the next line now. Where?
Well, no, because what if this X is false, then this will lie and it will say true, right? So this should not always be true.
So I should maybe delete the part after the equals and just put an if, like this?
Well, usually still keep the equals, but actually it's a lot simpler than you think. It's just equals to X here, right? Because X is already the is new employee boolean, right?
Okay.
So if X is false, we return false, and if X is true, we return true, which is totally fine, right? We don't need a second case.
You gave me a trick question, like on the first homework or the second one, I think. Okay, with this exact same type of function. Yeah, okay, my bad.
Yeah, I think it was something similar, yeah. So let's see. If we save this now, we'll get one more error. What does it say?
The case expression could not be... Oh, okay, so...
So what this tells us?
So basically, it could be having manager attributes as well, so I have to add this?
No, that's not how it works. So if it's an employee, it's always an employee, right? But the thing that this thing is telling us, saying that a case expression could not be determined to cover all inputs, is saying, okay, so we the new employee takes an input as an input a person, and then we only handle the case where it's Boolean.
But what if it's a manager?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So how do we fix that?
Do I type like this?
Yep.
I go manager X and it goes back.
Well, no, because
no.
So what's so manager? How many booleans does manager have?
Yeah, because I just figured.
Okay.
No, it's the other way around.
It doesn't matter. So what do the booleans mean? So first one is whether he's an admin or not.
Right? And then if he
second,
has
if they have their own office, which kind of means that managers can't really be new employees, right? They have to, like, for some reason. So we just need to do underscore and then equals false here is one way we can do it. I mean, again, it doesn't really matter that much, right? This is a lot less. So did I write something specifically here? So write a new type of function. True is the person is. Wait, only returns if the. Oh, okay. So actually, so the thing that you needed to write here was returns true if the person is an employee. So actually, you had it right initially, right? So this is just equals true here. Yeah. And then this is just an underscore here, right? So I think we need to rename this as is employee or something, right? Oh. Right? That makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second thing is we returns true if the person is a manager and they're an admin and they have their own office. Okay.
So I called it a triple true.
Sure. So let's delete this. Let me do that. Let me uncomment this for you. Okay, so now can we... So this is not correct, right? You understand why?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, now I do.
Okay, so can you write this looking at his employee and then write it correctly? So as you do that, let me do this. So is manager and well, let me do it like this, and is admin and has own office, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we need to do. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. 3,
Okay.
where we get the employee.
Okay, and then some, whether they're new or not, and what we do in this case.
So, wait, just a second, because okay, so employee. Well, so I have to cover this case, but if he's an employee, then it should be false.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Like by default, if it's an employee, we know it's not a manager, so it's by default
Yeah.
false. And we usually do underscore here just so we
Okay.
don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
Make no
Okay.
sense. Okay, and then 2 times 3. So if it's a manager
Yep.
and XYZ,
Why are we putting 3 there? How many?
XY.
It's just 2 booleans, right?
Yeah. And should I return XY?
Well,
Like,
okay. So before doing that,
no,
okay.
I'm returning a boolean, so I should just return like this.
Well, so okay. Before doing that, can we name x and y in a way that makes more sense? That like kind of did in the previous exercise. So what was x? X is whether
X.
he's an admin, right? So maybe is
Yeah.
admin or something.
Yeah,
Or
and
admin is
here,
fine. And what's y?
office.
Yeah, office. Okay, cool. So we need to. So when we done this thing, we know that he's a manager, right?
Yeah. We
But
know
we
that he
don't
has
know.
his own office.
Well, we
Okay.
don't, because this is a boolean. If this is false, then they don't have their own office, and if this is false, then they are not an admin. So when I say this, I assume I mean his admin is true and has office is true.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we return the value depending on that? Right. Because in this case, so let me give you an example. Right. So if I type some manager here, right, as a person. Some manager equals to manager, false and true, right?
Yeah.
So if I do this and then I call your function on this, it will return true, but then they don't have their own, they're not admin. You see the
Yes.
problem?
Yeah.
So this will not be a correct implementation. So how do we fix that?
I would just, okay, so maybe it's wrong, but I don't know. I would delete this and then I would put an if here.
So you never delete the equals. Even if you do an if, you still do equals.
Yeah. Okay.
So you do an if.
If admin is
Okay.
true
Okay.
and the office is true,
Okay.
then
Okay.
true.
Okay.
And then I have to do the else, because otherwise else false.
Okay, so a few things here. So that's mostly correct. So a few problems here. First of all, in Purescript, if you want to test if something is equal, you do double equal.
Yes, the
sign.
double equal. Yes.
Okay, and I think this will true. Well, and you type true x3 instead of just true.
It was
probably by accident. Autocomplete,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
But then this whole thing. So. Let's look at this for a second. So if you have let's do a table. Like this will not be correct Purescript. So let's maybe do this thing, right?
Okay.
So let's say that. So if admin has some value, then admin and true. What the result for this is, right? So if admin is true, what's the result of admin and true?
It's true.
Okay, so if admin is false, what's the result of admin and true?
Should be false.
Okay, okay, I forgot to add something. Okay, so well, sorry. I mean, what's this? Sorry, my bad. So if admin is true, what's the result of this?
It should be true.
Yep, and if admin is false, what is the result of admin equals true?
False.
Okay, so basically this doesn't do anything. It's the same thing as just typing admin. Isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
Right, because admin is a boolean already, right? So it doesn't make sense to do if admin is true, right? You can just do admin and office.
Okay.
Right, and then also, okay, so let's do something else now. So So if
Okay.
we have admin, office, and then admin and office, right?
Yeah.
So if this is true and this is true, what's the result here?
It's the true, so
Okay. And in any other case, what's the result?
should be false.
Yeah, so in all other cases, we have false, right?
Yeah.
So then you don't even need the if, right? You can just return, oops. You can just do this. Right, because the return of admin and office is a boolean, and it's exactly the boolean we want. Or in other words, like if you have if boolean, then true else false is always the same thing as just typing boolean here. Any expression here, right? Where boolean could be true or false. It could be some A or B and C or whatever, right? Right, it's literally the same thing. But I mean, the way you wrote it is fine. I was just thought that it would be interesting to explain this bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's continue. What were the other things that we need to do? So, okay, let's remove this. So booleans are not hard. Yeah. I think some of this thing might be. Yeah, don't worry about it though. The way you wrote it with the equals true and the if, that's fine. It works, right? And I guess we should probably have better tooling to tell us about these simplifications. Although it's not trivial, I guess. So let's see. Write a function person to person to match the manager and admin regardless of what they were before, and leaves the employee as before. Hlint might. Yeah, probably. Although this is Purescript, so maybe we need a plint. Okay, so write a person-to-person function. Okay, so let's see here.
Well, this doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to try again?
Let's go. So I will have to do the sys promotion like it, and wait, I have to bring. Let me just find the. I need the exercise description.
So yeah, let me paste it. I'll paste it. Don't worry.
I could have done it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Paste it here and then comment it
Okay.
out, and let's see. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I also commented
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So I have to cover the employee.
Yep.
And it says that the employee should be the same. So it should just be X.
Well, no, because X is the boolean, so you need to reconstruct the employee.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. There we go. That's fine. Okay.
But I still get an error here.
Oh no, I think if we save, the error will be gone, and it will tell you that you need to handle the manager
Okay.
case.
Okay. I did hit Control S, but it didn't change anything. Okay. So then I have the manager case.
Yep.
Where I have these two just don't matter, right?
Well, let's see. Maybe they do. Maybe one of them does.
Okay.
Okay.
And wait, so if it's a manager,
yeah,
wait, it makes the person a manager, an admin, regardless of what they were before. Okay. So it would be more efficient if I would check whether it's false or true if he's an admin.
Not sure. Don't worry about efficiency. Just write the simplest thing that you can think of.
Okay. So manager, the first one is admin. So it would be true and.
Okay, so the idea is right, but so first problem here. So let's save and look at the error, see whether the error is. Unfortunately, sometimes the error is not. Yeah.
Okay,
It
it's
says
not
an
help.
anonymous function or argument appears in invalid context. Don't delete anything yet.
No, I'm not.
So it's like the underscore here. The like Purescript assumes that it's some sort of function argument. So the error is a bit confusing. So okay,
Oh,
if
so I
we
have to
return,
go for office then, right?
yeah, it's better. So it's closer. Although there's still one problem, even if we save
So
now.
then I go for X this here or admin.
No, it was fine. That wasn't the problem.
Oh,
It's fine to have
okay.
an underscore there. So the problem is what's like you can't
I
apply
didn't
office to
construct
true.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You just need to construct it.
Okay.
Um, yeah. The reason is I haven't taught him records yet. uh, we'll do that soon, and then we'll fix it. You don't need parentheses. You just do space manager space true space office, and it should work. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go. It
and
works
now it
now.
works. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Okay, so that was the last function, and then we have given these things was the cardinality for this type. So this was just no more code, just algebra.
Math exercise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to paste it here maybe instead of the like Purescript file?
Yes. Just
Okay.
wait, because I'm deep diving into my notepad.
Although you're perfect, I think you're very right, Christoph. I kind of regret not doing that earlier, because positional arguments are a bit, yeah, it's harder. So I should have probably gone through record types last time.
Oh, so did it work? No. Okay, now it worked, I think.
Okay, so let's see. So it's
Okay.
so let me try to
Well,
understand what's going on
this
here.
so yeah, because it's not a pure script file, then it doesn't take the
Oh, so you commented.
notations.
Okay, so you can
Yeah.
fix this.
Okay.
Okay, so now it should look better. So let's go back up here and let's see. Okay, so you're saying that the values are 3 boolean, 3 false, and 3 true. So wait, I don't get your notation. So let's see, what's 3 again? So 3 is T1, T2, and T3, and then a boolean. Okay. So when you say C1 equals 2, that means that there's 2 possible values for T? Or I'm not sure what you mean.
I think I started on. Oh, I didn't start with this one though. I didn't start with the data 1 and 3. I started with the data T1, and I just imagined that T1 is the cardinality 1, where the only options are 3 and boolean, where 3 is a fixed value. It doesn't alter. Oh my god. Okay.
Right, so you see the problem, right? Because 3 is this one, right, which has 3
Yeah,
possible values.
I think I didn't paste it. And then I even watched the stream because at some point you asked for 3 again at cardinality 9, I think. And
Yeah.
uh,
I think
yeah.
there's a few more places where 3 is there.
Yeah, there are, it's in a lot of so I just took it as a fixed value where the the value is 3 as a number.
Okay.
You know? Okay.
So let's
So,
think about this again then, right? So
okay.
so how do you think about this? So okay, you see this thing, right? C1, 3, and boolean, right?
Yeah.
So we know that there are a few kinds of types here, right? There are product types, sum types, function types, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at this one, what kind of type is this?
It's the exponential one, right?
No, exponentials are functions, are like this.
Okay. So this is the product.
Yep, so this is a product, right? So
Yeah.
when we have a product, how do we fix this? So how do we calculate a product?
You multiply 3 times 2 and you get 6.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, that's right. But let's take it slow, right? So
Okay.
let me type it out just a bit more formally, maybe, right? So when we say like T1 is C1 3 boolean, we kind of say okay, so C1 is a product, So and when we say like this sort of notation, like C1 with like bars around it, that means the cardinality, right? So the cardinality of C1 is the cardinality of 3 multiplied by the cardinality of Boolean, right?
Yeah.
And then that means that, C1 is, so, okay, how do we think about 3, right? Why is this 3? Well,
T1, T2, and T3.
and what kind of type is this? Like 3, what kind of type is it? Is it a sum type, product type, or exponential?
This one is a sum, right?
Yep, exactly, right? So when you see like this sort of positional like space things, like 3 space Boolean space whatever, then this is a product. When you see the bar, that's always a sum type, right? And then when you see a function, then that's exponential, right?
Okay. Wait.
So then, and with 3, like we said that we do plus, right? So T1 is a simple constructor that has nothing else. So it's 1 here, and this is also 1, and this is also 1. So it's 1 plus 1 plus 1. That means it's 3, right?
So it could kind of like this be correct. And the Boolean is the 1 plus 1, right? Because it's also...
Yeah, something like this, yep. And then that's 3 times 2, and that's 6, right? We can definitely do, Okay, cool. So let me remove this. Okay, so then let's look at C2 then, right? How would you do C2, well, T2, C2, however you want to call it.
Okay, so I already know the cardinality of T1, which is 6.
Exactly.
And 3, which has the cardinality 3. And then just multiply them.
Yep.
And it's equal to 18.
Okay, so we're going to skip through because these are all multiplications. We figure it out, right? We'll just take, okay, what was T2, 18, and what's T3, or whatever. It's 3 times 3, so it's 9. So you just multiply. So let's jump down to, and then if you want, you can go through and like fix this later. So let's jump to here, right? So let's start over. So how do you think about this thing?
Well, you told me that because I have this, it's a sum type. So I have to do the C5. So C5 is equal to Boolean, which is 2.
Okay.
Plus and T4. The cardinality of T4.
Yeah, which we don't know yet because we didn't calculate it. But like if we knew, then that's all we need. There's one thing here. So notice that C5 is like you either type T5 here or then you do C51, right? So we can kind of say that T5, equals to C51 plus C62, something like this, right? And then you could say that this one is equals to 2, and then C52 equals to whatever, right? Hello, Janice Algorithm. Welcome. Yeah, we're doing some Purescript. Well, actually, this might as well be Haskell because it's literally nothing specific to Purescript here. We're not even talking about record types, so it's rather than maybe a very, very minor syntax differences, then there's absolutely no difference. Right, so here it's the same thing, right? But there's more things to add, right? You kind of add 1, 2, 3, 4 things, right? Rather than one. But like we haven't calculated T4 and T5, so we can't really calculate this.
So for T7, I would just do exponential, where I would have the cardinality of 1 to the power of cardinality of 1.
Yep.
But it's the second argument, the argument of the function is the first number, and this is the power.
So it's the same, right? So it's 1 to the power 1, which is 1. Okay, so what about this, right? Because we can calculate this because we know both 3 and Boolean.
Okay, so it would be 2 to the power of 3 was 3, I think, right?
Yep. So do you remember what it means that when you have a function, you have 2 to the power of third cardinality? Like, what was the meaning of this number? Because like it's pretty easy, right? When we look at Boolean, what Boolean has cardinality 2, and what does that mean? Well, there are 2 Boolean values, true and false, right? And then when you look at like 3 and say it has cardinality 3, well, why? Because it has T1, T2, and T3 as the possible
So the
values.
possible outcomes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what's for functions?
So it means that the function can only have 8 possible outcomes.
Well, actually, the
Or
functions can only have 2 possible outcomes because it's Boolean, right?
yeah,
But like the correct phrasing, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a like kind of phrasing thing, and maybe I'm putting you to on a too hard spot here. But let me remind you, right? So when we say that there are 2 to the power of 3 cardinality for T8, it means that there are
functions.
that many possible different functions that we could
Yeah,
define,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Because like we gave this example, right? When if we have functions from bool to bool, yeah, then how
Yeah,
many different things are? Well, we know that there's identity, which is one. There's not, which is the other. Right? We can do always return the same thing. We can negate, and then we can do const true and const false, right?
yeah,
And then like this is 2 to the power of 2, so that's 4 possible functions, and these are the only possible functions you can ever write that match this thing, right?
yeah.
So that's the meaning, right? That's why we say this has cardinality 4, right?
Yeah.
Because there are only 4 functions, and then
No,
for other. Mhm.
I understood this one. I just expressed myself
Okay, cool.
poorly. Yeah,
So then
my bad.
3 goes to 3. I guess it's pretty easy now, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we have anything more complicated here. And then here again, you just have to like take them step by step and be careful about. Like here, for example, it's a bit tricky, right? Because you need to calculate this separately, like T4 to the power of T2, and then the result you need to multiply by T8, right? Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah,
sense? And then
yeah,
the
yeah.
result of this you need to add with the result of
With
this and the
yeah,
result of this, right? So it's just being careful about notation
yeah,
and all of that, right? And the easiest, if you ever want to do this again, is like do this sort of thing, right? Where you just take constructor by constructor, and then you see if you usually just add them up, right? And if you write it like this, there's less chance you do errors, right? Okay, cool. So I guess, do you have any other questions right now, or?
No, no. It's like mainly when we're debugging what I wrote, it's just me realizing my own stupidity
Yeah,
and what I did. Yeah.
don't worry about it at all.
No, but this is how I learn because I have to make mistakes.
Oh yeah,
So
you need to
yeah,
write code, but then it's hard to find code when you like. We need to go through, and I think maybe here we can have more homework. Well, not more homework, but just maybe it's a bit more interesting things when we do lists and things like that.
yeah.
And then the more we progress, the more we'll be able to do more interesting things and
Mhm.
programs that are more fun.